Are you looking for an ultra lightweight, compact thermal monocular that still packs a serious punch? Then the Nocpix Lumi Series might be exactly what you're after. There are 4 key models in the range, each offering different image performance. We go through all of that in detail in our full review. One standout feature is that the range-finding models can give you ballistic holdovers in the handheld and also link directly with Nocpix scopes, sending live data to your hunting partner so they can take faster, more accurate shots. They run on a replaceable 18650 battery, giving around 4 hours runtime. They also have a crisp 1024 by 768 LED display and have an 18 millikelvin sensor paired with a 0.9 lens to pull in more thermal detail. Weighing in at under 350 grams, it's one of the most compact and ergonomic units on the market right now. Where it really shines is as a handheld spotter, small enough to slip into almost any pocket and perfect for those long walks when you're out on foot scanning for game. For our in-depth breakdowns, latest deals, and best after-sales service and advice, head over to our website. And remember to gear up at Bristle Up Hunting Supplies. Let's take a look at the image quality on 3 of the 4 key models of Lumi devices. Sadly, we sold our last P13 model just before I wanted to do this review. The P13 has a 256 pixel sensor with image quality quite a bit worse than the L19, just to give you an idea. As we go through the different distances, you should take note of the image quality and field of view as we move from close to far away. A wider field of view allows you to see more of the surrounding terrain and makes it easier to scan quickly, while making shaking less noticeable. A narrow field of view, like on the L35R, zooms you in closer to the target, improving image quality and identification, but making it harder to scan quickly and shaking much more noticeable. Closer targets will be harder to track and find in your vision, taking more time to scan. When we jump up to 640 pixel sensors with low base mags, like on the H35R, we tend to get the best of both worlds. Good image quality close and far away, while maintaining wide field of view. If you want quick target acquisition and you're walking on foot in thick country that has a lot of obstacles within a few hundred meters, you are almost always better off with a wider field of view. If you tend to have a lot of time to locate and scan for the animal and identification is more important, a narrower field of view can still be workable. It comes down to your use case, personal preference, and sensor size. Right, that brings us to the end of our image quality review. Coming up shortly, we take a look at how the ballistics calculation works between the monocular and the scopes. If you're in the market for a new thermal monocular or scope, we have plenty of other reviews over on our website. Not only that, we have some epic package deals as well, so make sure you check those out. For industry-leading advice and up-to-date intel, it's best to give us a call. Let's take a look at how the ballistics calculation and LRF work on the monocular and how it can communicate with other Nocpix scopes. Firstly, you need to connect the 2 devices. You do this by going into the menu system, going to Wi-Fi and turning and link on. The scope will then pick up the Lumi or Vista device and you'll be able to connect to it. Once you've done that, when you do a range find on the monocular, it'll actually automatically send the ballistics information through to the scope. And as you can see, it even gives you a screenshot of what the monocular can see to make sure that you're both looking at the same target. This is a fantastic innovation by Nocpix, and some people might find it useful. And as you can see, it gives you the holdover on both the monocular and the scope. Pretty bloody awesome. Before we move on, I want to point out that yes, the ballistics information between these two isn't matched up, and that is why we are seeing different holdovers on the monocular to the scope. You've got to go into both devices and match them to the same profile. Alright, let's kick off and take a look at the Nocpix Lumi series that we've got here now. First, we'll take a look at what's in the box. So basically you get this little bag here, which your thermal fits in. You get an accessories box. So in the first accessories box, you get 2 batteries and a couple of straps for your bag. In the second box, you get your charger. So that's it. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so we have 3 of the 4 key models here. At the moment, we don't have the P13. It got sold just before I was doing this review, so I decided to just go ahead and finish the review without it. The P13 is the cheapest one in the series with the worst image quality. It's only got a 256 sensor. The L19 has a 384, so the image quality is going to be quite a lot worse than the L19. So do of that with what you will. Who is this device for? Well, it's for anybody that really wants a compact, lightweight device that can fit in your pocket when you're walking around, things like that. It's made for that purpose, so that's its most ideal use case. Now, some of the key features that this thing has, well, it has the range finding obviously, but it can actually talk to your scope, and it can also do ballistic calculations inside of this device. So you could do a calculation in this and relay it to somebody that has a glass scope, or you can connect to Bluetooth on a Nocpix thermal scope, and it'll talk and send the data live to the scope itself. So the shooter has the data they need and the holdovers immediately. So that's quite a cool little feature. Now it can Wi-Fi to a tablet, though it is fixed on 2.4 gigahertz band and you can't hardwire it. So it might not be the most ideal device on the market for remote mounting. It does have image stabilization, which is pretty cool. It crops the image in and moves the image around to stabilize it, a bit like how your phone or GoPro will do it, but it hasn't got as many pixels to work with, so you do lose quite a little bit of field of view. But when you're shaking on handheld use, it does improve that quite a bit. So which model's which? So we've got our H35, which is 640 sensor with a 2.5 base mag. This is obviously going to be your best all-rounder. And then you have your L35, which is 384 sensor. This is your sort of middle ground, budget sort of decent quality, but not going to break the bank. And then you have your L19, which is, you know, what I would consider the minimum I would spend my money on. I think the likes of the P13 and the 256 sensors, I feel like they're really not worth the money unless your only use case is going to be looking very close range and you only just need to see a bit of heat. So maybe out to 100 meters, see that something's there, get in closer, and you know, look at it with a different device potentially to identify it. But your 256 sensors are just not very good, to be honest. The minimum I would own myself would be a 384, but ideally you want a 640 as an all-rounder. Now the base mags do matter, so they have different base mags. We talked about that in the image quality review, so I won't go over that again. Now let's take a closer look at the device itself. So we have our focus here for our image, the rangefinder there. So many of the models have rangefinders. There is models that do not. So there is a H35 model without a rangefinder. So, you know, options there. Lens cap is removable and it can stick onto the back there like that. We've got our tripod hole on the bottom there and our button placement here. So we've got our power button, so long press to turn it off, long press to turn it on. Then we have our up arrow or our rangefinder button. So this one here, if you long press it, will start the range finding, or single press will cycle through the zoom levels. Alright, now we have our menu button. Single press will open the quick access menu, and these keys here will allow you to navigate that, and then a single press again to make changes, and then a long press on the menu button to close that down. And to open up the main menu system, you long press on the menu button and it'll pop up on the side, and then you can navigate once again and single press to make selections. This button down here will activate your recordings or take a photo. Single press photo, long press for a recording. And then we have our eye adjustment here. our nice big screen in there, and our removable 18650 common battery, which I really like that sort of system. As you can see, quick and easy to get out and put back in. Quick swap over. You'll get about 3.5 to 4 hours out of a battery. We've got our USB-C port on the side here, but that about covers it. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We're happy to help. Well, let's go through the menu systems on the Lumi here now. If we single press on the M button, brings up our menu here, quick access menu to change color palettes. Single press on the M button on your selection will allow you to cycle through the options. So we've got our brightness here. We can cycle through that. We've got our contrast and sharpness as well. Long press takes us back, and then we can long press again to open the main menu this time. At the top here we have Ultra Clear, which tries to improve the image quality, then Wi-Fi. Inside here we have our N-Link as well, which allows us to connect to our scope for live ballistics data transfer. Long press to take us back a menu. Then we have our cold and warm hot settings. And also we have our microphone on and off. We have our calibration, whether that's automatic or manual. We have gallery, which allows you to watch the actual videos you've recorded on the device, which is good. Then we have our ballistics. We can turn this on and off. We can put our data in or connect it up to the Nocpix app using Wi-Fi. Now this will display the data on the monocular, and if you connect it to the scope via N-Link, it will also transfer that ballistics data through to the scope. Then we have our main settings. Here we have our date, time, language, units, image stabilization, whether it's on or off, custom palettes. We can muck about disabling color palettes that we don't actually want. And then we have factory reset, and then information, which will give you the serial number and also the firmware version. And that's it. That's the menu system. If you're in the market for a new thermal monocular or scope, we have plenty of other reviews over on our website. Not only that, we have some epic package deals as well, so make sure you check those out. For industry leading advice and up-to-date intel, it's best to give us a call.